Welcome to Biology 2190, and this presentation, how can I get the best possible grade in this course? 6 steps to success. Folks, I have been doing this college science teaching thing for almost 40 years, and I wish I had $1 for every time a student asks me, Dr. Knaus, how can I get an A in this class? Well, you're really asking, how can I get the best possible grade in this course? Now, once upon a time, I used to say, study, 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 go to class, take notes, and study some more. But in this modern age of transition, doesn't matter whether we're talking about the COVID virus or we're talking about online courses, things have changed a little bit. So I have generated this presentation to help you specifically do well in this course in Principles of Nutrition. So congratulations, you are now in Biology 2190, Principles of Nutrition. You might be in an online class, and this presentation was originally designed with you in mind. On the other hand, you might be in a traditional face-to-face class in nutrition, but the same principles are going to apply. So regardless, whether you're in an online class or a face-to-face class, the content in this presentation is designed for you. Now, I mentioned I wish I had $1 for every time a student asks me, Dr. Knaus, how can I get an A in this course? Well, to be honest with you, it all boils down to 2 things these days: task management and time management. Do you know what you got to do? And do you know when you have to do it? If you can sort that out, you're well on your way to doing a much better job in this course than you would otherwise. Okay, Knaus, what are these 6 steps of which you speak? Step number 1, get yourself a calendar and plan your Biology 2190 work schedule. That means down to the day and down to the time. Now, I know calendar sounds old-fashioned, paper calendars and all that stuff, but the fact of the matter is paper calendar is invaluable in terms of something that you can physically look at, physically post, and physically write on. Now, this particular item here was designed in mind for the face-to-face course. You take a look at our major bullet points there. The general face-to-face course of Biology 2190 will involve 2 75-minute lecture classes per week. And given the tried and true recommendation that a college student should study at least 2 hours for every hour in class, study time recommended 6 hours per week. Now, the fact of the matter is you might be in an 8-week class. If you're in an 8-week class, the times change. You have longer lectures and a much longer recommended study time. So in an 8-week class, you're going to be studying an insane amount. Rather than compute it, I'm just going to say you need to be studying an insane amount. And if you are so blessed as to be in a 4-week class, which would be like a short session course, you're talking about an insane amount of study time. That's insane amount in capital letters. So the thing is at this point, just understand, if you get yourself a calendar and plan your work schedule down to days and times, and that's not just when you plan to take notes. It's when you plan to study, and it's when you plan to invest yourself in all of the assignments that you have to submit. If you can do that, though, you can basically manage this, and ultimately it's not going to be easy, particularly if you are in that 4-week class. But if you basically take care of this, a lot of it will follow much more easily than it would otherwise. Believe me, I'm telling you it because I have been there. Step number 2, make a hard copy of the course calendar and post it somewhere you can see it. The course calendar I will sometimes post as a separate document in D2L, but it can also be found in the course syllabus. It tells you what you need to be doing on any given week in the course, tells you when all your due dates are, when all your exams are going to be. And so if you can keep track of that, you'll never, ever be late, and you'll never, ever, ever be behind. Now, once again, it sounds a little bit old-fashioned, but for me, this is absolutely critical. I am teaching not just this class, but I'm usually teaching 2 or 3 other courses at the same time. Where my computer is, in my home office, I have got a wall. It's got a clock, and it is plastered with pieces of paper that document where I am at any given day in any given course. And every single one of those pieces of paper have got Sharpie marker lines drawn through those dates as they come and as they go. Yes, it's old-fashioned. No, I'm not relying on some lousy calendar or checklist found in my phone. But it's something I can physically look at, something I can physically interact with. And when I sit down at that computer or I walk by, all I need to do is glance and tell exactly where I've been, where I am, and where I need to go. And that can be the case for you, too. Step number 3. This one's easy. My mom used to constantly yell at me about this when I was a kid. And at some point, yes, I did figure it out. Do not procrastinate. Do not put things off to the last minute. So if you need to watch a lecture, or you need to take notes, or you need to read a textbook, or you need to Google something, or God forbid, you got to study, or maybe study even some more, don't put it off. If you put it off, I guarantee you will regret it. Do not put things off. You will be a much happier person. Step number 4, get a study system going on. See, in these modern days, we've got things called PowerPoint files. When I was a student, my professor would walk in with some scribbled transparencies. Or maybe he or she would have some antiquated slide collection. But nowadays we have all this electronic file thing going on where a PowerPoint file can be used as a presentation tool, but at the same time the student can access that PowerPoint file online. For us, Georgia Highlands College, you go to your D2L course page and all of my PowerPoint files are there. So all you have to do is print out the PowerPoint file, and there is an option in PowerPoint to print out the file as a page-by-page selection of 3 slides, each with some blank lines next to it. Makes it much easier for taking notes and doesn't waste paper. If you're in a face-to-face lecture, you carry that into class with you and you take your notes as I'm going through the lecture. If you're in an online class, you watch my PowerPoint video version where I'm lecturing over the PowerPoint presentation, and you have that hard copy of the PowerPoint file in front of you that allows you to take those notes. Then study those notes. And I should probably repeat that bullet several times. A lot of times it is much better to study those notes soon after you are done watching that presentation or soon after you walk out of that classroom. Because if you're like me, if someone says something to you now, 30 seconds later, I won't remember a darn thing. So study those notes early, study those notes frequently. If there's something you don't understand, Google it. Study plenty in advance of any test or exam. I've got study guides posted on D2L, so you use those. And then always remember your study time is sacred. a husband, a wife, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a child, a parent, an animal like a pet, a dog or a cat. These living beings do not take precedence over your study time. It's a hard thing to say, and it's a line in the sand you're going to have to draw. But the fact of the matter is you do not want to sacrifice your study time, because if you do so, you're sacrificing your future, because essentially the good grade is going to get you places. And so this is what you want to do. I need you to be jealous about this course, and it's not for my sake, it's for yours. Step number 5, do not neglect your projects. In the syllabus, I build in a tremendous number of points that don't require a heck of a lot of study or preparation, which means while you might not be doing all that well in your exams, there are these other projects, short reports A and B, the dietary supplements report, the dietary analysis report. All instructions to these are found on D2L. These are really grade-friendly projects. So if you're not doing so well in your exams, make sure you invest the energy and the concentration to getting these done and do them well. Step number 6, extra credit opportunities. I am not a big extra credit fan. On the other hand, I have built some extra credit opportunities into the course, which once again will help you compensate for less than stellar exam grades and maybe less than stellar project grades. So here's your extra credit opportunities. The first bullet point tells me that these extra credit opportunities are points that will be added to your total course points for the class. That's 1,000 points. So the first thing I give you is a base grade of 100 points. That's the equivalent to acing an exam. No fuss, no bother, no obligations. Every single student starts off with that 100 points. You can basically take a starter quiz in order to get started with a class. That's mandatory, but it's 10 points. There's a syllabus acknowledgement form. That's 1 point. And there's something called Own the Content Supplemental Project, and that's 20 points. All of these are going to be documented with information within the syllabus. So if you got any questions about what an extra credit opportunity is or what it involves, see the syllabus. And a lot of times there's some detailed information found posted in the student information folder on D2L. But the fact of the matter is, if I add these together, base grade 100 points, starter quiz 10 points, syllabus acknowledgement form 1 point, and Own the Content Supplemental Project, that's like 131 points. That's essentially 13% of your overall grade. I don't think that's a bad deal. As a matter of fact, I think that's a pretty awesome thing Canals is doing for you. So, in conclusion, after going through these 6 steps to success, many of you will watch this and think, nah, I'm not going to bother. It's too much work. But the fact of the matter is, I will tell you this. Every single one of these steps has application to every single other course you might be taking at this time. And I will tell you this. The other thing is that these skills that you might develop in these courses have application beyond this point. So at some point you might be in a job situation, and in a job situation the stakes are a heck of a lot more high, because you got to pay a car payment, you got to pay a mortgage, you got to put food on the table. And it would be really, really helpful to have these skills in place so you can basically do better at that job, not just better in nutrition, not just better in your other GHC courses. So anyway, I'm glad to have you aboard in Biology 2190. I hope you take advantage of these 6 steps to success, and I wish you all of that success for this semester.